Welcome back to another episode of Let's Stay In.
I'm Anna, and this is Mark.
Now, before we get into today's episode, we got to give you that annoying reminder. Make sure you like, subscribe, download, comment. If there's a button, make sure you click it. Somehow, I think that helps us out.
With that being said, let's just jump right in.
How we doing, Sarah?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
We're always good. Good. It's a big podcast week. We've been recording a bunch, but we've been looking forward to yours. So, yeah, we're glad to have you on.
I'm super excited to be here. This
Last
is my first
one.
podcast without talking about business the whole time.
There we go.
I love this.
So we can talk about fun stuff.
Do you want to pivot? Do you want to just go all business this entire podcast?
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's what you're here for.
So give like your 30-second elevator pitch. Let's say you just stopped at Erewhon, you got a smoothie. Let's say somebody walks up to you in that second. They're like, who are you? What's your story? Give like a 30-second elevator pitch.
So I'm originally from Ohio. I've been in hospitality for pretty much half my life, 15 years or so. I moved to LA. I started getting into VIP events and working the door for these really cool private parties. I stopped drinking and sort of started to realize I wasn't as passionate about traditional hospitality anymore. I'm so happy I was talking about being a cannabis consumer so much because I was actually poached to open the first cannabis restaurant in West Hollywood called Lowell Cafe. We served food alongside cannabis for the first time in public. And we saw like 1,000 people a day every day. Because I got to have that experience, I grew a LinkedIn following. I got a Forbes article written about me.
Wait, you got a LinkedIn following?
Yeah,
I have 30,000 LinkedIn followers.
Whoa, I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't even have a LinkedIn. That's so
Wow,
cool.
okay.
Yeah, like forget Instagram. Like LinkedIn is like my world and my community. And the cannabis industry thrives on LinkedIn. So it only made sense. Like that's where we go to talk about business and everything. So then I got this Forbes article. I got to open a second lounge. And so I've really been like esteemed in the industry as like the expert on cannabis consumption lounges, like experiential venues and places that sell cannabis alongside an experience, food and beverage, concerts, whatever that looks like. But cannabis is really hard and there's no money in the industry right now at all. And so I noticed in time I was becoming more and more masculine. I was developing food sensitivities. I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. I was like working myself literally to death. And cannabis is supposed to be this healing plant, and the industry was literally killing me. It was just too much going on. You know, we're overregulated. I'm trying to tell people to buy legal cannabis, yet the tax is like 30-something%. And so it's really difficult to get people to spend that kind of money. And so, you know, I ended a relationship that was really toxic for me and decided like I'm at rock bottom and I need to do something to get out of this. I've always felt very spiritual, and it's almost like I was forced into being spiritual again because all of the remedies and ways that I got myself out of that obviously had physical benefits like, herbs and supplements, but also so many spiritual benefits that I don't even have food allergies anymore, and I don't have anxiety anymore, and I totally feel like a different person, and I'm coming from like a loving place instead of like frustration and like masculine energy. And so now I'm so excited you guys asked me to do this because I'm learning so much through this process, and it's exciting that I can talk about it now.
Oh, I want to pick your brain about the food allergy component because I was somebody could eat anything. I always had stomach problems. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you have IBS. And then all of a sudden one day I just like got violently ill when I started eating gluten, and I just got diagnosed with celiac out of the blue at age like 29. And I'm curious of what allergies popped up for you suddenly when your health was declining.
Gluten, sesame, soy, and peanuts. Which, you know what's crazy?
Literally all of those.
All of them. And those are the things that glyphosate is the most commonly found in.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're like, you don't really probably have a gluten allergy. For your case, you probably do.
I have gliadine. Is that what it's called? Gliadine?
Okay.
I have that allergy and then a moderate to gluten. So it's a component that's in gluten.
Yes.
And then peanuts, pineapple, and eggs. Highly allergic to eggs. So like every breakfast food, just don't even invite me to breakfast.
That's the best meal of the day.
It is. And I can't eat shit. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that all of a sudden just popped up for you.
Yes. And I had slowly over the years developed allergies, but they weren't as bad. But it came to a point where I was afraid to go out to eat. I was afraid to eat around people because I didn't know how I was going to feel afterwards. I was always bloated. And then, you know, I also had high cortisol. So like all of that mixed together was deadly, to be honest. And at first I kind of got back into spirituality, and I'm like, okay, what in this world calls to me? And I always say that I'm like a kitchen witch. I like just love herbs, and I have plants all over my place, and I'm just so attracted to life. And that's probably why I was in cannabis as well. And it wasn't until I started taking thoughtful, mindful supplements for certain triggers and certain things that were coming up for me that those symptoms really started to go away. But the major cause of it, or the major, I guess, remedy for it, was a parasite cleanse.
I was so excited when we got to talk about this, because I feel like it's like really hot right now. My boyfriend ordered these like parasite chocolates, and they have like a worm on the box, and he was like, it works, babe. And I'm terrified of it, but like there's extremes. Like they're the really heavy duty ones. I'm curious about.
It's so funny because at first I was hesitant to talk about, because it becomes so personal. Like when you see worms coming out of you.
Wait, you see what now?
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's a lot of parasite cleanses that are just be like, take these supplements and it'll kill parasites in your body. Well, then where do those parasites go if they're dead inside of you? Like you got to clear them out. So the thing that was different about this cleanse that I've done compared to others, which is a little bit more controversial, is that you have to give yourself an enema every single day.
Sure. Happy
that's
to.
The result that most women have. That's the response. But for guys, they're like, there's no way I'm doing that. That feels so uncomfortable.
Wait,
us women we're down for whatever makes us feel good.
I want to make sure, because to be honest, I've heard the term enema a trillion times, but I can't say I know exactly what all goes into that. So can you explain real quick?
Yep.
What do you have to do every day?
Yep. So you have to like boil water to make sure it's diluted, distilled, so that there's no minerals and things in it that you don't want inside of you.
Okay.
And you buy a bag and you set it up, and I would like lay in my bathtub without any water in it. I'd get a pillow and a blanket, and I'd get like really comfy, and you just take this tube. It's pretty small, and it's connected to the hose, and you really just like put it up your butt.
I want to see that. I want you to do it, Anna. No. Yes.
It's pretty uncomfortable the first time you do it, and it's so terrifying. I was a nervous wreck the first time I was thinking about doing it. And then first off, you see what happens once you do it, and you're like, oh, now I got to do this again. Like if that was how much came out the first time, like, and here's the thing, I do want to emphasize this. It's not like you're going to see like poop.
Okay.
Because like you wake up in the morning and you have your normal bowel movements. Yeah. That's out of your system. And then the cleanse itself is like you can only eat fruits and purified veggies.
Okay.
So like if you're eating veggies, they're in soup form. Okay. And the idea is that it's giving your digestive system a break. It's like your digestive system is on vacation. So it doesn't have to work now to dissolve or digest any food. Liquids kind of just keep you flowing.
Okay.
So the only thing that you see is what you want to see, the good stuff, which is like fluke worms and worms and heavy metals and old bacteria from pills that you've taken in the past.
What are heavy metals looking like? Are they shiny? Like, so you can go.
Yeah. What do you like? Give us a visual. Like give us like a visualization. Like, what do you? Yeah. When you're looking in the tub afterwards, what are you seeing?
So honestly, awesome. It's more of the smell that is like that's nothing like I've smelled before. And then like the cleanse that I did gives you like this packet, and it will tell you what to look for, and you just know like, okay, yeah, that's.
I'm so down. I love this.
I don't know. I mean, the end.
You have to do it once, Mark.
The end product sounds amazing, but I just think about like, I don't know. How long did you have to do that for?
So you do it for 10 days.
Okay.
And it's really not that bad because you can eat as much fruit as you want. If you feel hungry, you could eat fruit all day long if you wanted. Like there's no limit on how much fruit you can have. They say it's also high vibrational, so it's really just like lifting your spirits. It's putting you in a better mood, so you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely starving. And then I would go to Erewhon. Erewhon does a great job of having all like vegan organic soups, and I just like, because I'm not very good at like pureeing soups on my own. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Luckily, we live in California. We can go somewhere and have that available to us. So it made the cleanse a lot easier for me. Whereas I know people who are doing this in Ohio, and they have to find organic fruits and vegetables. They've got to puree it all themselves. It becomes so much more work than really what I had to do.
Okay, and so again, you have worms come out your ass.
So let me make this clear too. Everyone, like 90% of the population has worms and parasites.
I just clenched my ass as you said that.
You just puckered it?
Yeah.
To keep the worms in?
My ass is so puckered currently.
Oh, you know it is. I mean, think about like all the street tacos I'm eating and things like that. Like I'm asking for it.
Well, I literally just saw a video last night of a praying mantis. Praying mantises apparently are like a common target for parasites. And so if you take a praying mantis, I don't know, I guess it's like 90% of praying mantises, if you take them and you stick their butt in water, a worm will just come out of their ass. And so I watched it. I don't know why I watched it.
Why are you watching this, Mark?
It was all on my feed. It was insanely entertaining, to be honest. It looked incredibly like it felt. I felt happy for him. Like after that came out, I was like, that seemed like that was. I'll show you guys a video.
I was going to say your feed is based on an algorithm, and that. Was selected.
You watch one, and then next thing you know, now it's my algo. And now that I've said it out loud, we're all screwed.
You probably felt so much relief, that praying mantis.
I was happy for him, but I imagine that Sara.
That was me.
That was what Sara did in her bathtub.
It sure is. Yeah.
Okay, so what were some of the benefits that you noticed after doing the parasite cleanse?
Oh my gosh. First off, I never felt bloated like ever again, and for me, that was. I'm so tiny and I don't have big boobs. So like I'm always afraid of like feeling or looking super bloated, and to never have that feeling of just like, how is this going to make me feel? How is this food going to make me feel? Was so helpful and amazing. But the biggest thing for me by far was I had acid reflux. That was so bad. Like I had to like basically sleep propped up. I would like in the mornings not feel very good. I struggled every single morning to get out of bed, and all of that went away pretty quickly. I will say, though, it's hard to decide if it was the parasite cleanse or the herbs that I was taking, because I was taking like wheatgrass and milk thistle and dandelion tea and all of these like really powerful herbs at the same time or right before. But I mean, the energy that you feel too from just going back to whole foods and just eating fruits and pureed veggies, like I was just like feeling like I was floating most days. And it wasn't until I had chicken wings, because I was craving wings a little bit through that. And as soon as I ate wings, I felt like myself lower in vibrations and in like good feelings. And I was like, this is probably what happens when you don't eat meat for a while and you really, your body gets used to that feeling again.
Damn.
So you're saying hot dogs are low vibrational? That's hard.
I think that might be the lowest of vibrations. Yeah, that might be.
Not lowest.
Well, hot dogs?
Hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs got to be top 5 lowest, right?
I don't know. I think like a McChicken.
I don't know. Hot dogs, Spam, and a McChicken are probably
Spam is low
same.
vibrational. You're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right.
All of it's probably
similar
in that.
I'm in a constant state of having a distended stomach. No matter how much I work out, no matter how little I eat, how I've fasted, everything like that, my stomach is always kind of just hard, feels full, and is bloated. And I'm curious if that was what you were experiencing.
I was, yeah. That sounds very similar. I am going to send you a list of herbs, and I'm going to send you the link to this parasite cleanse.
Please do.
They are pretty Instagram famous. I think they have like 1,000 followers or something. And I think it's really a testament to how true the program is.
What is it called?
It's called the Sanctuary Holistic Wellness on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's eye-opening. They will post things on there to give you a little snippet of what to expect. So it's not for the weak, but it really will show you that you're not alone in the experience. Things that you are going through or passing, so is everybody else. And I don't know. It seems gross, but I feel like I have less parasites now.
No, of course you do.
You know,
they're all in your bathtub. They're all in the drain.
Yeah. How long did you deep clean that bathtub afterwards?
No, it's not even like that, because like you'll lay there for like 10, 15 minutes and then you will feel the urge to get up and go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not.
That's so interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, I love it.
This is. My mind's gonna be blown by the end of this podcast.
No, I'm instantly signed up.
I didn't really know what I thought, because I feel like when I think of like I don't know, when you think of like, I'm going to sound like an absolute idiot for one quick moment. When you drink like a probiotic tea or whatever, and it's like has living organisms in it, and I'm like, okay, I can't see them, but like, sure, they tell me they're in there, so I guess they're in there. But this is like you actively see a fucking worm coming out of your ass. Like that's such a crazy thing to think about. And I mean, it adds up. Like it makes sense with the stuff we eat and everything like that. But it just like, it's a crazy concept to think about. I
love it. Sounds like the dream.
Yeah.
And we deworm dogs all the time.
So why are we deworming us?
Right. That's what I was thinking. So
wow.
That's so true. What mental health benefits did you experience?
So I guess, when I say I hit rock bottom, it's because I had been in a lot of relationships where I feel like I was either like neglected in some way. And for a long time through this, I thought about writing a book, so almost called like my ex made me sick, because it really showed me how neglect emotionally can lead to so many physical issues within the body. And the body is like the first to tell you sometimes before you even realize it. And so because that was all connected and so together, because my symptoms got significantly worse when I was in my last relationship, and, no hate to him at all, but it just wasn't a good relationship for me. And that sort of forced me to take that cleanse so seriously. There is a spiritual element of this Parasite cleanse. They have you doing affirmations. There's parts of your body that you focus on each day. So it sort of like helped with my mental health at the same time. And then just like, envisioning, I read something or I watched something not too long ago on how strong our mind is in healing the body. And through all that, I would literally close my eyes and imagine like fish or like insects or animals like eating away at either like illnesses in my body, and meditating on that, and slowly kind of started to see all of the changes. So I definitely would say this wasn't just a physical cleanse for me. This was spiritual too.
They're so tied. And isn't it the whole thing of like the stomach is the second brain?
Exactly. Yes. And a lot of people don't realize like everything they're eating is impacting your body in so many different ways. There's a book called The Gut or something.
Yep. I think I have that.
And it says in there that that there's a single cell organism that really wants to live inside of a cat. So it gets inside mice. And when it's in these mice, they rewire the mice's brain to find cat urine attractive, so that this mice lures itself to its death to get into that cat where it wants to live. And if a single cell organism is doing that inside of a brain, like imagine what our food with cravings and things that we really want, imagine what that's doing to our brain. And so that really had me thinking about that a lot and how connected they are. And even the book also goes to say that our gut is almost like a nightclub. And so having bouncers is like keeping all the good bacteria in and keeping all the bad bacteria out. But when you eat too much of that bad bacteria, it knocks over those bouncers, and now you have things going into your bloodstream that should never even be there.
I have no security team in my system. No one's watching for anybody.
It's improving.
There's no bodyguards in there.
Maybe less hot dogs, huh? Yeah. Let's start
I can't
there.
keep my mitts off of them. What can I say? I was reading this. I don't know if you know. I don't want to get his name wrong, and I'm going to say it. Sounds inappropriate. His name is Dr. Mark Hyman.
Okay.
Have you seen him on Instagram?
That sounds.
I know, and that's why I didn't know if I wanted to get. I didn't want to.
No, I mean, like that's a crazy name to you.
Oh, Hyman.
Well, I know, but like it's not that.
Okay. Anyway, I don't want to focus on that. So he was saying how a lot of depression cases are misdiagnosed, and people are just given SNRIs or SSRIs or things like that, when really they need to be given probiotics and they need to be given vitamin D and fish oil and focus on brain health and inflammation before they're giving any sort of other psychiatric treatment.
Yeah.
Did you notice like your anxiety, depressive symptoms, or anything like that improving?
Everything combined improved. And I did get way more spiritual like in the same time. So it's hard, to differentiate exactly what it was, but there's so many health, wellness, and spirituality things that coexist that are so connected, that just like embarking on that journey and having those together was literally, like I said, life-changing all around.
Amazing.
How often do you think, because obviously there's always going to be the skeptic that goes like, how much of this is placebo effect, right? Like when you're doing certain things and you're like, okay, I'm telling myself this is going to be good for me. How often do you think it's like actually placebo effect, or just legitimately it's helping you out a ton? Or do you think those things kind of go hand in hand, and like because I think the term placebo effect has like a negative connotation to it, but I'm like, to be fair, if you think something's doing something good for you and you tell yourself it is, it probably is a really mentally good thing to tell yourself.
Agreed. I mean, our mind is so powerful, and if you think it's doing good for you, it is. The law of attraction as well. If you tell yourself that you're going to have a good day, and there's a higher chance that you're going to have a good day because you're going to attract good energy and good things to come your way. And I don't think that people realize or think about how powerful we are ourselves and the power of plants. I mean, we call it alternative medicine, but it was here first. It is the medicine, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think it's all so connected. If it is placebo effect, great. You know, people say that about crystals all the time. Like, oh, that has to be a placebo effect. If it is, awesome. It's still putting you in a mindset that's going to deepen your connection to, you know, the universe or the divine and really kind of get you in a headspace that's probably going to be better off for you.
What are some of the vitamins, minerals, herbs that you would recommend to someone listening to this, like the starter pack for wellness?
For sure, wheatgrass.
Okay.
Wheatgrass is like the number one. It's so beneficial in so many different ways. But milk thistle really helped me with my digestive issues. Shilajit has like 84 minerals in it. And so
Shilajit?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a mineral that's found in the Himalayas, I think. But it's so funny. People like laugh at how little I eat these days. And I think it's because I'm taking these supplements that are full of minerals, and even wheatgrass has some protein in it, that I'm not even craving food as much. I'll eat like banana and avocado and like small parts throughout the day. And I think it's because I'm finally getting those things that I needed from food, but I'm getting it elsewhere.
You're also absorbing it for the first time too.
Yes.
And I know that when people have inflammation, autoimmune diseases, food allergies, yada, 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 they're not even able to absorb. So those with celiac are not getting essential vitamins and nutrients. That's why they feel depleted all the time.
Yep.
So you probably, for the first time, are actually reaping the benefits of what you're ingesting.
That makes so much sense. That's probably true. But there's so many good herbs out there. Like I'll say like, oh, astragalus is amazing. And then I'll read benefits for it that I didn't even know that I was taking it for. Or Erewhon has a liver rescue pill that I realized is like so helpful for me because a lot of it wasn't my digestive tract, it was my liver. And the Parasite cleanse actually spends a whole day on the liver. And they actually have you do like a saltwater shot, which is really hard to take. And then it's really good for digestion to lay on your left side every night. But they have you lay on your right side because they want that to start going around areas that it's not supposed to be. And then you take a olive oil shot with grapefruit juice.
Wild.
And it really makes you feel terrible for the day, especially laying on your right side after that. It's miserable, and you have to really work on not feeling nauseous. And I smoked the entire cleanse, and people are like, how do you do that without eating much? But the nausea alone was like necessary, especially on that day. But then you see the benefits of just doing a liver cleanse, because then we were I was passing flukes that are liver flukes that, you know, are so necessary to have its own day just to process.
You said liver flukes?
Yeah, what's that?
It's just a type of worm that literally comes out of your liver, and it's like you're not going to pass those on most days when you're doing this cleanse, but when you focus all of the attention on the liver and how to cleanse it out, like it was day 6 of a 10-day cleanse. And you really see the benefits of focusing on the liver.
Do you know if there's any sort of like health conditions that can't do this cleanse? Like I'm wondering if things are so powerful that they're killing worms inside your body, is it going to be detrimental for like a certain demographic of people?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I do know that obviously if you're pregnant, not something good to be doing, but even the Parasite killer itself is like bentonite and activated charcoal, and the Parasite killer itself is all herbal. So I think it's pretty gentle on your body, although the results feel like it's a lot more harsh than it actually is.
Okay.
How many worms are we talking? Because you mentioned several worms now. How many, like in a 10-day period? Yeah.
I mean, I have some pictures on my phone. I'd be happy to show you.
Oh, I'm interested.
Can we put those on YouTube?
I'm like, can we just like put it up on the Spotify thing?
I mean, you guys can if you want to.
But give me like a rough count, like how many a rough estimate. How many do you think in the 10-day period?
Okay, so this sounds gross, but I saw a lot of other people do it, so I got some chopsticks and like a stick from my yard, and I would like fish through this bowl to try to see what I was getting. Sometimes I would have like 3 or 4 worms, but they were like, you know,
Oh shit!
worms.
I was thinking like that.
Wait. So for people that can't see things, she just put her hands up into like a foot. That was a 12-inch worm. You say?
Yes.
You say?
And when you kill off worms in your body, they overreact by producing 30,000 eggs a day. So you have to be really aggressive when
I don't
you
feel
do this.
safe in my own body right now.
Yeah, my inside is like, maybe the worms are telling me right now, you're not doing this.
The words are just like, shut the fuck up. Don't listen to her.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, I know I got worms. I
can't
just tell.
I feel weird saying I can't wait to see photos of this, but like
I want to see. Can I see one now?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it
What
possible?
a live reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
God.
Oh my god! Did you just like search keywords
Wait, here.
worms?
I'm gonna
No,
group.
I got to scroll a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna group chat the three of us and
Oh, I
send
just
it
got
so
the
Anna and I can
chili
react at the same time.
Okay, you guys want me to send it to you? All right, we're getting very personal
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
Might have the equivalent of that. I could share with you. I'll try to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
let
Did you
me
send it?
find-
No, I just put
No.
us in a group chat.
I gotta go back a little bit and make sure I have this.
Search
I mean,
keywords on your phone and just search worms,
I don't
and
think
then
that's
see if
gonna-
it.
Yeah,
Hey,
it might.
You never know.
Okay, here I found one.
Oh God. I'm so nervous.
No, I just gotta find how to put this in our group chat.
What if I can't make eye
Okay.
contact with her anymore?
It's all right
just
if you
can't
can't,
look at her.
guys. I totally get it.
No, that would be low
This
vibrational
is
of
just
me.
literally one,
It's a
but
photo
you
of
can
her
see
asshole.
how.
Like, oh, damn, Sarah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, this is just one, but you can see how.
Oh
long
my
it is.
God.
Wait, really? Do I want to see it?
You can see how long it is.
Wait, do I want to see it, Mark? Mark, is it is the water murky?
No, I got it out.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
What?
Yep. I'm sending you guys more now. You asked for it.
Oh my God. Do not yak in my chair.
I know. I'm trying.
Not yak.
Don't look at the other one.
Oh God.
I'll tell you if the other one's bad. I'll give my live reaction. You sent the other one?
Yes, I did.
Anna, do not puke. Keep it together. Keep it together. Bring your mic over. We gotta hear this. Wait, you sent another one?
I did.
Okay, I'm waiting for it to come through. Oh man, I'm so nervous. This is
Talk about.
stuff I thought we were never gonna.
I know.
I never thought I'd have this conversation in my life.
I never thought I would be sending these photos
You know,
to,
it's
to
so
people.
different when you see it come out of yourself versus you see other people's. Like, I would have no issue seeing that come out of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What color is it? What color
I mean,
is
it's the same color, but I mean, it goes through the same tube, so it feels like color kind of goes along with it. But
That's not necessarily true.
I don't know. But
No,
I
there's other kinds.
I've
I
seen
just
some
didn't
be
send
white.
them. Yeah,
Damn,
I have
that
a white
is-
one in here too.
I want to see a white one. I'd be less scared of that.
It's just thicker than I thought.
We have to do it, Mark. That can't be in our system.
You start first.
Sure.
Start first. Okay.
Sure.
So I don't know if you want to see the last one, but
Okay. Don't.
I'm done after this, but I sent you guys 3. Enjoy.
Okay, I'm going to do it from a distance. I'll do it like Scary Movie style where I look through my fingers.
This is.
That's not the right one. First off, it hasn't sent yet, so brace yourself.
Just wait. Yeah, I'll tell you when it's.
Okay, that one upsets me less.
Okay. There you go. You got that one.
Oh yeah, like that's more. I guess like
Looks like
what
a
I
bean sprout.
expected. Yeah. Yeah, that's sick.
That's exactly what I was expecting,
Yeah, that's
actually.
sick.
Bean sprout. Oh,
All
I'm
right.
doing it. I can't have that in my
All right,
head.
wait. I'm just gonna send a bunch of emojis so this gets out of our group chat.
Okay,
now.
I was hoping you weren't going to say you're going to send it to a bunch of people.
You're like,
No,
actually,
no.
I need to post this on my close friends real quick.
I'm just sending a bunch of emojis. Bunch
No,
of emojis.
honestly, you're raw and vulnerable, and I'm very proud of you to send that to us.
Okay.
Thank you. I actually had a close friends group the entire time I did the cleanse of girls, mainly girls and gays, who were like,
Has to be.
add me along for the ride. And I would post
that.
every single day, like what I was going through. And I even had a few friends buy the cleanse and do it after because they were just like, okay, I'm sold now.
I should do like an exclusive content site
That's
of
sick.
me doing the Parasite cleanse.
OnlyFans, but with Parasite
so sick.
cleanses.
That's sick. Instead of my tits, you can see the worms coming out
I'm
of my
gonna
ass.
say only worms.
Yeah.
Only worms, low key,
Yeah,
kind of hard.
it is.
That's that. Wow. This is. My mom's gonna text me after this podcast.
Like Marc Colcer. Anyways,
So okay.
what were some other things that you implemented during your self-growth journey.
And also, how long was this journey? Because, like, okay, just for a little context. So we talk before we have everybody on the podcast. We're kind of like, hey, what are some subjects you want to get into? Anything you're passionate about, whatever. And you were like, well, I've got a list of subjects I'm going to start making some content around on TikTok. And so you sent over this, like, very long list, great topics to get into. And it was like, this was the easiest podcast episode ever to prep for, because it was like, we're just going to wind Sara up and let her go. But, like, this whole journey, you were telling me you're on this whole journey, everything like that. What, from beginning to end, like, how long has this been?
Probably, I would say April till now.
Okay.
Oh, this is recent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like learning as I'm going because it's happening like right now. I'm still very much healing, but I think I'm doing something right because I'm like definitely attracting all of these things that I wanted so badly and I was manifesting for so long, and it's all like starting to finally come to me now. And so I feel like if you really do the work, whether it's 3 months or 4 months like mine was, or 6 months or a year, like it really does pay off in so many different ways. Like the men I'm attracting even are so much different than I've ever attracted before, because I literally had to sit with myself, you know, through abandonment issues and traumas, and I've never not been cheated on in a relationship. And so this wasn't just like a physical healing journey for me. I took this very seriously as like a full body emotional healing journey.
Why do you think that is with the men? Like, what do you think that is about it?
You know, at first I kind of have been saying that a lot of men that I've gone after, I believe, are maybe like a little more over-mothered, under-fathered, needing a mother figure, needing a caretaker. When I feel like as an ambitious woman, I want to be taken care of. And not like you have to pay all my bills, but just like I don't want to be someone's mother. I'm looking for a man that's more of a leader. And I think I was showing up as the leader in a lot of these relationships. And so I had to sit with myself and say, what do I actually want in a man or out of a relationship that I'm not attracting right now? And what am I doing wrong, or what am I accepting? What boundaries am I crossing that keeps attracting the same sort of guy?
And what do you think that was for you?
I think it was letting down boundaries that I shouldn't have had crossed. You know, my ex, I kind of told him every one of my insecurities, and throughout time, those insecurities were thrown right back into my face. And so that's clearly not me the first time that happened, setting that boundary and saying, no, this is not going to happen for me anymore. I just let it happen. I'm a giver. Most women, we're so loving and we're so giving, and I was just doing my part, I think, as a giver, but only that person was just taking and not really giving in to me in return.
Honestly, when you are with the wrong man, listing your insecurities ends up becoming like a guidebook to how they can end up mistreating you.
Exactly. And that was a hard lesson to learn. Just like trying to be vulnerable with someone and tell them raw, like in a raw way of who you are. And then
it gets weaponized.
Yep. And then it gets weaponized against you.
So how do you avoid those type of guys now?
You know, I think it's like a lot of the, that's a great question, because
You show them the photos of the worms?
yeah, that's what I lead with these days. No, I think it was probably some of the energy that I was putting out. Like, I met someone in a very authentic way that was also like very spiritual for a man. And that's something I'd been looking for a really long time. So I think like becoming more of the person that I was supposed to be and healing just naturally is going to attract those people. Not really having to do anything different, but heal yourself.
Become what you want to attract.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that all makes sense. I mean, I think like sometimes I think when it comes to like dating and stuff, people are looking for like rocket science, and it's like, it's not really that deep at the end of the day. Like if you have a lot of things within yourself that you know you need to work on, you're going to tend to attract other people who also have things that they need to work on and things like that. So the more work you do on yourself, the less you're going to tolerate bullshit from other people, right? So that's kind of how I look at it, of like, while I've been single, continually working on myself. And even when I'm in a relationship, I will work on myself. But like, you know, the more you work on yourself, the less bullshit you want to tolerate outside of that. Not just in relationships, but in work, in friendships, and everything. Yep. And so then when you have less tolerance for bullshit, your life just naturally improves because you're not putting up with anything that you don't want in your life anymore.
Totally. Amen.
I was watching this really interesting video, and I wish I had finished it, but it was basically saying how the human emotion is a guidebook to what you need to heal. And it was saying how if you feel jealousy, that's what you want. And if you feel anger, it means your boundaries have been disrespected. And then I can't remember the third one. When you're sad, it's you're neglecting some aspect of yourself. But I thought that was really interesting. It was when we were at lunch, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, all the times I've been angry recently have been because I felt like I was being walked all over, and that ultimately is then a boundary being let down.
Yeah, and it's hard as a woman to put up those boundaries. We're just naturally want to be caretakers, I think, and so we overextend ourselves in a lot of situations.
Definitely.
It's hard. It's hard to have those boundaries.
You talk a lot about feminine energy and masculine energy. I'm really curious about that because I feel like when I feel my healthiest, I feel like I'm leaning into more of my masculine sense. And so I was curious about what that looked like for you.
I think the polarity of feminine and masculine energy is so beautiful. And I love that. I love when men embrace feminine traits and when women embrace masculine traits, as long as that balance is strong. Like I really have been wanting to attract someone who is very masculine, but still, soft in nature and kind. And so I kind of was looking within myself, and I noticed that I drive a Jeep and I sometimes dress more masculine, and then I'm working all the time and I'm very much in a business element, and that I didn't have much femininity around me and I wasn't embracing femininity. And I think the color pink and the psychology of pink is so interesting. When you're born, you're like blue or pink, and when you are this pink color, it's seen as so girly and like cutesy, and we grow out of that. We're like, society kind of pushes us to grow out of that a bit, but pink is such a loving color, and I think as women, we embody so much love. And it's green is the heart chakra, but pink for crystals and things really embodies love. And so I think like it's just so important to have ways to be feminine in your life if you're always showing up pretty masculine, whether that's like dancing. Dancing is such a feminine trait, just like freely moving, or resting. Like it took me so much to acknowledge that I could take a break, like to accept that I should be resting. And men are very much hunter-gatherers, whereas women at times should be receivers and divine and let things come to us. And we are programmed to not do that very often.
Yeah, that's the opposite. Like, I don't want someone to grab me a glass of water. I don't want anyone to do anything for me. I want to make all the money, and I want to pay for you too. Like, that makes me feel really strong and empowered if I can take care of everything. And I'm wondering if that's like a survival thing or if that's actually what makes me happy.
Well, and
it's hard to.
If you would have asked me a year ago, I would say the exact same thing that you said. And I think like there is an element of that where my friends would be like, you're not going to attract a man because you're so hyper independent. For you, I mean, that's worked out for you. But for me, it's probably true. I was showing up trying to be a caretaker, trying to do the most. And I'm finally coming into a point in my life where I'm like, okay with not doing those things anymore. And it's been the hardest psychological challenge for me to say, like, I'm on a sabbatical right now. I'm literally not working. I'm resting. I am healing. And I'm okay if someone takes care of me. For the first time, I went to a date the other night that opened the doors for me and took me to a Michelin star restaurant and had black car service for me. And I had never had that in the past. And I'm like, maybe this is because I'm actually allowing these things to happen for me for the first time.
That's really interesting.
How do you avoid, though, with that, the person, because I feel like obviously us living in LA, there's a lot of men who lead with money, right? Like I have all this money, I can provide all these experiences for you, I can fly you to this place, we can go to this, we can go to that. And what ends up happening is that there's kind of like the love bombing aspect of that, right?
Yes.
And that when you get into like the meat of the relationship, there's not much depth there, and a lot of it is based on money. So how do you avoid that while still wanting to be like taken care of in this time?
I'm not the best at answering this question, only because I most of the time will not respond to anybody on dating apps. I don't even put myself out there. This one situation, I met somebody on a dating app, and then we literally were standing right next to each other at a music festival. And I'm like, maybe this is divine synchronization. Like, I would have never texted you back, and I never would have actually gone on a date with you, but you're standing right next to me, and that maybe says something. And because we met in person, we text for like a few weeks. I got to really like understand this is like a healed man that is like, you know, ready for something. Then I was actually open to going on a date.
Okay. So what are your like, I guess, things that you look for now in people, whether it's like friends, whether it's relationships, whatever, what are like the qualities of people that you're looking for now in this kind of more like healed version of Sara?
I love other spiritual women. Like, I feel so attracted to spiritual women and being able to like sit with them and talk with them and like kind of come back to this like feminine nature that we often like ignore. And there is something about female intuition and like magic. I feel like women are so magical. And so I'm really, really trying to find more spiritual women in my life right now. That's a big one. But I think just in general, spirituality is such a big thing for me. Like, I couldn't date a man that was not spiritual. Or really kind of, as much as we're in LA, like, I think that there's something about working hard, but also like having peace. Like, I'm not looking for somebody that needs external validation. As much as we're in LA and we love aesthetics and we love these things, if that's what you're doing, if you're like bougie in that way, I'm not really interested. If you need designer bags and things as soon as they come out, no, thank you. But I like the fact of somebody working hard. I'll probably only date men that are more successful than I am because I feel like I'm successful and I don't want to be raising another man. I want somebody that's going to be on my level or above, because if I can't like learn from you or be inspired by you, then I'm bored.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like spirituality is such a broad term. What is it to you? Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, what is that believing in? I don't even know how to define it.
Yeah. So a big part of my healing process has been sound frequencies. And I feel like when you are sad, depressed, upset, nervous, stressed, listening to certain vibrations and frequencies automatically kind of tunes you in and like cleanses your chakras and brings you to like some sort of peace. It all started with that for me because I started listening to sound frequencies as I went to bed every night, and I could sleep a little bit easier, and it really kind of like made me feel like I could meditate or find peace a little easier than before. Then I started doing like visualization walks where I would be listening to these different sound frequencies, whether they're like healing tones or manifestation tones or whatever, that I would be visualizing more of the life that I wanted. And so I kind of just like slowly started to incorporate things that I felt were raising my vibrations and that ultimately were like easing me into easier meditation, because meditation's not easy. And easing me into kind of like, what does it mean to manifest and how do I do this? And like reading a lot of books about energy at the same time. And then kind of just like focusing on the body, like as spiritual as, I guess, unspiritual as it seems, focusing on the body was like number one for me. I sleep on a grounding mat every single night, which I feel like just, you know, they say that shoes are like one of the worst inventions for humankind because we need that electromagnetic field from the earth. So sleeping on a grounding mat has like kind of just helped me calm down a little bit maybe and ease into more spirituality. I wear a lot of copper jewelry. It's like antifungal and anti-inflammatory. It helps with lymphatic drainage. Copper is said to like enhance other crystals around it. So it's kind of just all encompassing, feeling more positive and more loving. I say I am love a lot because I'm really just trying to like not give love to people, but embrace what it actually means to be love and to come out of love for everything that I do in life, which is not easy, but I feel like meaningful and it helps you feel more spiritual.
What does being love mean to you?
I think it just means moving without judgment. And, you know, sometimes I'm like walking around my neighborhood and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to send love to that person. And just like understanding that we're all human, we're all connected. Like looking at someone, judging someone is like judging yourself. You know, we are all here together and we are all divine together. And so I feel like just leading from a place of unconditional love, no judgment, no pain, no hurting, and no resentment towards people. Like I was trying not to hate my ex, and someone said the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And by the time I was indifferent about the situation, I was sending him love because he needs to heal, and just trying to embody like be the change you wish to see, as cliche as that sounds.
I think that's the definition of healing. And like people are like, oh, you get your revenge against your ex, and it's not just necessarily being happy. It's actually hoping the best for them in a way, because I feel like when I look at any relationship that was abusive to me or they cheated, I'm like, gosh, you were hurting so badly.
Exactly.
Something horrible happened to you to make you this person that could cause pain to somebody else that didn't deserve it.
Yep.
I send you nothing but love, and I hope that things get better for you.
Yep. And EMDR therapy did wonders for me in that way.
Okay.
Being able to dive into a really negative situation and kind of come out of that situation feeling more empathy for the other person. And if you've never done EMDR therapy, it's so amazing.
My therapist suggested it. It's supposed to be really great for PTSD, right?
Yes. It is just great in general. I mean, like I'll go into a session, I'm like, I'm great today. I don't need this. And then my eyes are moving across the screen and it's waterworks. And so it's really beautiful how it rewires your brain to tell a different story in your mind over a traumatic experience.
Yeah, because basically like the definition of EMDR therapy is like, it's not like almost ignoring events that you've gone through, but it's almost like reprogramming your brain when it thinks of traumatic events from your past, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
I love that concept.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's like going back to places that you had a negative connotation with, like a vacation with an ex, and then being able to go there and have a happy memory.
Yeah.
You get to rewrite history almost.
Yeah, I had a really bad experience of like one of my first relationships. I caught my ex cheating with one of my friends.
Oh.
And like I got in a car wreck that night. It was just like an all-around traumatic experience, and I've come out of that feeling more sorry for them and what they've gone through since than I feel about myself at all. And I probably would have never been able to do that otherwise.
Wow. Yeah. No, I mean, it's all extremely powerful. I think at the end of the day, like the more that you think about I think about my mind all the time, because I'm just like, when I'm talking, I don't have to, actually think to myself, okay, now you have to say this letter. It just like naturally does it, right?
Yep.
And so you think about how many decisions your brain is making on a regular basis that you're not even realizing you're making, right? And so then I'm like, okay, when I think about the ideas, when I think about depression, when I think about anxiety, when I think about all these different things, I'm like, all these are things that are happening within your body, within your mind, and things like that. So what can you do to help fuel that brain, help fuel that mind, help fuel your body to help avoid some of those things? And I'm not saying that, I don't think anybody ever gets to a point where like you can't have a terrible day or you can't have like a bad week or a bad month or whatever. Like I think that's human nature. But what can you do to help yourself, I guess, like feel your body right, feel your mind right, so that when those things do happen, you recover much quicker, you're able to bounce back much quicker, all these sort of things. And so I think about that a lot. I think it's a lot of, and there's always going to be those people that are like, oh, some of that stuff's foo-foo, whatever. But I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, all of us should be trying to improve ourselves. And again, maybe some of it is placebo effect, but I think there's a lot of benefits of placebo effect, and they literally run trials on that of people who are given placebos and like how they end up feeling better afterwards. And it's like, that's a medical trial, and they talk about that. So if that's the case, then like, again, I'm never going to knock somebody who's like, I tried this and it helped me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it doesn't mean that everybody has to try it. Doesn't mean you have to understand it. Doesn't mean anything like that. But if you feel like something's actually benefited you, then why shouldn't we applaud that?
Totally. And if it's placebo effect and it's working, look how amazing your brain is.
100%. 100%.
Have you ever done an aura reading?
I have. I've done, well, I guess I like a color. You mean like, I haven't done that.
I kind of want to do that. It was something I never even considered. And then I heard about it on a podcast and I'm like, I need to know what color I am immediately.
Yeah, that is so fascinating. I've recently gotten deeper into like what your life path number is. And I've had some tarot readings and I'm trying to get into tarot a little bit myself. But I have an amazing friend who's an astrologist. We have the same birthday. Highly recommend having the same birthday as an astrologist because they just know so much more.
What's your birthday?
October 16th.
Oh, we're so close. God.
Man.
October 18th.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'm having a birthday on the 18th, so I'll invite you guys.
I'll see you there.
That's awesome. Yes. Oh my God. How funny is that? What's your rising and your moon?
So I'm a moon as a Taurus, and then
that's me.
Really, you're a Taurus moon, or you're
no? I am a Taurus.
Oh, nice.
Like sun.
Okay,
yeah.
I love that. And then I'm a Sagittarius rising.
Me too.
Really?
What the frig? Yeah. So Taurus sun, Sag rising, Virgo moon.
Okay, you're a Virgo moon. Okay.
I don't know mine off the top of my head, but here I'll
You
look
got
at.
Leo in there.
I got
Leo
co-star.
and Aries, right?
So you're a Libra,
I'm a
obviously.
Libra. Yep. And then let's see. My chart is
Of all the three, what personality or what traits do you see the most in you?
I would say my Taurus moon for sure.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit more like chill, and I would say like talking to my therapist or my therapist, my astrologist, she's always telling me that we really embody that or our moon or like our that's more of our personality. So I don't know. I feel a connection to being a Taurus.
I do too. I feel like hands down the most connected to being a Taurus. I see a little bit of my Sag with like my my little wanderlust.
Okay.
stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Sorry. What are your trio?
Mine is Libra, and then Cancer moon and Leo rising.
Okay.
He feels a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you do.
Big feelings.
You got some big Leo energy in there too.
Oh, 100%. He's a star. He's meant to be the center of attention.
I don't even know what Leo means, but
you're the definition of like you're meant to be a star.
oh, thank you. I think you two are
You're like
stars
Lady
in my eyes.
Gaga.
Lady Gaga. We have many
You
similarities.
have Lady Gaga energy.
There it is.
Madonna
There it is.
energy.
Okay, so you had on the list of things that you sent over, which again, I can't wait for you to roll out the TikTok videos with some of this. I hope you clip this podcast because these would be some great
sure.
TikTok clips. But one of the things on there was tantric sex, and I had to Google that because I was like, I don't know what that is, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, is this some like ultra kinky shit that I've never heard of? Like, so I guess. For people who don't know what it is, can you explain it? And can you explain, I guess, like why you started to look into that and kind of explain that more?
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of personal experience in this yet, but just
Mom and Dad.
Gotta say that first. But this man that I've been dating a little bit was the one that introduced me to it. And at first I was like, wow, a man is talking about tantric sex, like that is unheard of. So I was really kind of like looking into it more, and it's really, first and foremost, it's so powerful to me because I tell my girlfriends a lot, like, don't give it up easily. Don't give it up on the first date. Like, you have a portal in between your legs. Like, you can produce life. Like, women are so magical. Oftentimes when we hook up with somebody is when we get attached to them, when we like them. And a lot of that is hookup culture, and it's like freaky, and it's like actually having sex, whereas this way of connecting with somebody is so emotional, and it's more soft, and it's like more deeply passionate. And I feel like for a woman, it's insanely healing.
Wow.
To be able to connect with a man in that way, instead of feeling like, you know, my parents don't hear this, but instead of like feeling like you're being like bent over or something, which is like,
it's like not degrading in any way.
It's not degrading, and it's actually respectful and honoring. And like a lot of the ways that you do that is like slowly touching each other non-sexually, or staring at each other in the eyes, like embracing each other for like long periods of time, slow everything, kind of just like diving into the love and respect you have for each other, as opposed to making it such a physical experience. And I found that like it's probably the way that women could heal and connect with partners the easiest, because as women, we tend to have emotional connections with men, whereas men are looking at this as a physical experience. It kind of brings the power, I guess you could say, back to the woman. And I think that that's really important, you know, hard to probably do when you have random hookups and things, but I don't know, like I would just suggest all women really considering that more and taking a step into that direction when it comes to sexual experiences to feel more connected. And I know that some men even don't ever ejaculate during tantric sex, and they bring it up through their body and they channel it as energy. And so that's
interesting.
That's way deeper into it, and something I have like no experience. I don't know anything about it, but I know that that's like the goal for a lot of people.
That's
wow.
interesting. Yeah.
I thought tantric sex was like the book of positions. Do you know
Well,
what I'm
a
talking
lot
about?
of those
Like the Iron
positions,
Lotus
I
or
think,
whatever?
are started as tantric sex positions, and now they're just in like a lot of those kind of books.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not about position. It's just about the premise of it.
Yeah, it's about emotional intimacy.
Okay.
And like connecting, I mean, it's really hard to like stare at someone in the eyes for like 20 minutes.
Did you laugh like at any point? Well, I think I would have I think I'd like start tickling my partner or something. Like I would just be like, I have to break this tension.
And this is like I said, I've not really experienced like that kind of I would love to someday, but like I haven't gotten there yet. But knowing and understanding and researching and learning about the fundamentals that make it what it is, I don't know. It seems like a hard thing for me to even imagine sitting there and staring at someone like that. But can you imagine how close you feel with somebody after you do that for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that part of it for sure. Cause I think, I mean, I'm totally with you on like, I think the hookup culture is like if we talk about things that are bad for your mental, if you're going and just having like random hookups, I think that's gotta be awful for your mental, right?
Oh man, yeah.
And like, I look at it and I'm more of a, like if I'm going to have sex with somebody, I want it to be somebody I deeply respect, somebody I deeply care about. Because I don't. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in those moments too. Like I want it to be somebody I genuinely have a lot of respect and love for, and I think that's like, especially the older I get and everything like that. And so again, I think when you think of like this sort of experience, I'm like, yeah, it's a very vulnerable experience, and I feel like I'd rather have a vulnerable experience than like a we fucked.
Like
you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Yeah.
And
like,
I guarantee you any woman that you're with, I think would agree with that.
Yeah.
Unless they have a hard time being vulnerable.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And because I always say too, because there's like they talk about like the 7 seconds of clarity that a man has after.
Yep.
And it's a very real thing, right? And almost every guy can attest to that. And so with that, I feel like if you're in a moment where you're doing tantric or whatever, and it's like a very vulnerable thing, you're staring into each other's eyes, everything like that, I don't think it'd be possible for you to have like a negative feeling afterwards. I think if anything, you'd feel so deeply connected to that person. It feels much more personal. It feels much more, you two are, have this like, what do they call it? Soul ties? Is that a term?
And you're present. You're actually present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things is like, you really can't connect on that level if your mind is elsewhere. Like you got to be really zoned into what you're doing and being present in the moment.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think a lot of these things have like a negative connotation almost from like lack of understanding, right? Because
I completely agree.
Like somebody listening to this, I mean, if you listen to this, you'd have to be like, yeah, that adds up. That makes sense. Like, how could that be a bad thing, right?
No,
but,
yeah.
Again, it's like I read the list and I was like, what is that? Is she into some crazy stuff? Like, is this some like... Mom, I don't know.
I'm scared. Can you pick me up?
Yeah. I was like, am I going to like get put on the FBI watch list when I Google this shit afterwards? And then I read it and I was like, oh, no, this is like
it's
actually
all
like,
about love and connection.
Yeah.
Low-key, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
it was wonderful.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I was cried.
Yeah. One tear.
Yeah. But no, it's just it's very cool that you've gone down this whole journey and everything like that. And I guess for like somebody starting, I feel like, we've mentioned a lot of different things today, and I don't feel like you can start with just like, hey, I'm just going to do all these all at once, right? Like your whole life would change in a blink of a second, right? So I guess like, how does somebody start if they want to become more in tune with themselves, things like that? Where do you think they should begin? Is it positive affirmations? Is it like manifesting in some way? Is it like where do you think someone starts? And then, obviously they can evolve to a lot of the different things that we talked about.
If physical symptoms are like the main issue, I would definitely start with herbal supplements. They probably made the Parasite cleanse so much easier for me because I had already started them, and they're so powerful in terms of cleansing and detoxing our bodies. In terms of spirituality, I feel like reading is really where I started because it's hard to embody certain feelings or know what to do without learning and reading about it first. And it's a lot harder to explain than it is to read and digest and then try to practice on your own. And so like there's a book called The Energy Codes that have been really amazing for me that I've read. The Power of Awareness is an incredible book that changed my life. So I think reading is just something that we don't do very often. And to be honest, waking up and not looking at your phone right away. Like you'd be surprised at how much it changes your day and your mindset and your attitude, and then have the ability to process so differently from there. Like I think even you texted me this morning and I didn't respond for like 3 hours about today because I really just have to not look at my phone in the mornings if I want to feel good and spiritual the rest of the day.
It's really bad for your cortisol levels.
Yes.
Look at your phone first thing.
Yep.
I was just trying to make sure we have everybody on time.
Mark is cruising.
Yeah.
His cortisol's fine.
Listen. No, but I completely agree with a lot of this. I think, again, the more that your mind is so powerful and it affects you in so many different ways, and the more that you can feel it, I think the better off you are. And yeah, I mean, I guess like what I would say for you is now when you have, after doing all these, making all these different changes, kind of having your life kind of go on almost like a 180, right? Mm-hmm. When you have a bad day now, what do you do to kind of get yourself to like snap out of that, I guess?
Breathing is a big one, because usually if I'm having a bad day, it's because I'm anxious. I have anxiety. I'm really positive and optimistic naturally, so I don't really feel days where I'm just like, oh, everything sucks. And even on those days, I usually just breathe, because the vagus nerve is like really what is anxious in your body, is what's causing panic attack. And when you breathe deeply, there's something about the exhale that triggers your vagus nerve that you are calm and that you're safe. And so that's what I try to do very first and foremost. But I think it's walking. I like walk 7,000 steps every single day, just to make sure that I'm clearing my mind. If something's on my mind, I'm like listening to frequencies just to get your body moving. And I think they say like if you walk 10,000 steps a day, you can live longer. And it's like so good for you without having to take a full workout, you know, just get outside and move your body. And that's typically how I've like forced myself to get out of those situations.
I mean, I do the same things. Walks. Mm-hmm. It's my mental health walks. During my darkest times, I would just put my shoes on and go outside. Just if I walk it in loops, like as long as I was moving, like you can't stop me.
Yeah.
Now you have on here hot girl visualization walks. Is that what we're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
How does one practice a hot girl visualization walk?
Listen to frequencies.
When you say frequencies, I'm, like when I think of that, I'm thinking of like white noise. Is that no?
So there's like different hertz for different.
Can you play one?
Yeah. Yep.
Play that right into the speaker. Listen.
Okay. Heal our listeners.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
should we all close our eyes?
I have like a sleep one. I have this one's called healing and cleansing, and this actual sound is called anxiety relief.
Oh, okay. Give me that one.
Okay, put that right into the speaker.
That's what they play during massages.
Exactly. So
send me that?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Send us that in the group chat.
Yes. There's manifesting tones where it's like I will turn on a manifesting frequency and I will feel what it would feel like to be living in my manifestations. Not envisioning it, because that's not actually embodying it. You have to feel how it feels to be living out your manifestations. And that's really what I try to do when I'm walking.
Yeah, I was reading how if you want to manifest properly, you have to say I am, not I want. So like I am a rich woman. I am a powerful woman versus I want to be.
Want is a different frequency.
You have to embody.
And if you want all the time, you're never going to get, because it's not.
That's a negative, isn't it?
Want.
Like a want, yeah.
So you have to really feel like somebody's like, I'm just imagining that I'm in my dream house. And I'm like, don't imagine it, feel it. What does it feel like to be in your dream house? And what are you doing? And how are you living your life? Because that's when the universe is confused, because they're like, oh, they're already in this frequency. And then they're trying to just bring that realization to you. Feelings is the most powerful, energy expression, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean,
as soon as we're wrapped up, you're sending me that song or that frequency.
Anna's going to be driving home today.
I know.
Just
I'm literally
zen.
No podcasts on, just hurts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just hurts. And then the Parasite cleanse, please.
Yep. 100%.
Again, and I think when you break down all of these different things, it's like, again, because a lot of this gets a really bad rep, right?
It does.
LA, California in general, a lot of this gets a really bad rep. And I'm like, when you think about it, okay, what you just played is very similar to what Anna mentioned. When you're at a spot, like, and you're getting a massage or whatever, and it's like in that moment, they are trying to get you to be completely calm and peaceful and in a blissful mind state as you are getting, a great massage, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, if you tell somebody like, oh, I listen to like the same music that they play during like a spa day, they'd be like, oh yeah, like I get that. That's super beautiful. Then you're like, oh, I listen to frequencies. They're like, the fuck is wrong with what's up with this person? The crazy ass. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's literally just wording that. And then again, same thing with like, when you mentioned the, when we were talking about the Parasite cleanse, and then I think it was Anna that mentioned that like dogs get like worms removed, and it's like,
just dewormed.
Yeah. So it's like, if a dog does it, why don't humans, when we're consuming, we're consuming actually way more food than a dog is. And so therefore, like, who knows what's in our body? It's like all these different things. Same thing with tantric sex. It's like, is it that crazy to be like, to actually like quote unquote make love to somebody versus like having sex? Like, it's all wording.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me how so many things have a negative connotation when, again, like milk thistle and some of these different like ashwagandha and some of these different like mushroom supplements and things like that. Reishi, lion's mane, all of those are incredibly common now at like a normal smoothie place in the Midwest, right? Though those started in California or started elsewhere besides the Midwest. They didn't start there. And so now it's becoming more normalized. And so I do feel like we're getting to the point of normalization, but I do think it takes conversations like this to help normalize it.
I think it's also the hypocrisy that goes along with it a lot of the times, especially in places like, not especially, but in LA, where it's like they'll talk about frequencies and raising your vibration, and then they're in a club at 4 a.m. doing lines of coke.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I, even though that's not my lifestyle, I respect, giving attention to all sides of you if that's how you want to live your life. But I do think that it's like they praise, wheatgrass and all these mushroom blends and like being their best self and high vibrations, and then, doing awful things. And it's like, I think the hypocrisy element, the wording element, I think a lot of people just hear manifestation and then their brain shuts down. I'm guilty of that, where I hear crystals or see crystals and I'm like, they're pretty rocks.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, LA could be such an amazing, beautiful place where people are coming to heal because everyone seems very interested in it. But exactly like you said, it doesn't correlate with their actual lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And then they look like it's fake. And then there's a lot of fake spirituality. And if you're still like judging people, I don't feel like you're totally healed. And like, I'm very guilty of it too. It's like, you don't just heal and then you're good forever. It's like a constant healing process within yourself. And here we're so grateful we have access to good food. Everyone's very knowledgeable on those things, but it's not actually taken seriously, and then those kind of people ruin it for the rest of us. And we're woo woo, and it's like, really, I'm not. I'm really just, I don't drink alcohol anymore. I'm only consuming plants, and I'm trying to be better.
Simple. It seems really simple and really good.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like we got to have you back on at some point, because this was great, and I feel like, I learned
so much.
I'm still thinking about the Parasite cleanse photos.
I'm getting flashbacks to the one worm.
I feel like we got to end the podcast with a positive affirmation.
Oh yeah, I like that. Okay.
So why don't you go first?
Wait, what am I doing?
I am, and then think about it for a second.
I'm capable of everything that I dream of.
Ooh.
That was a good one.
Okay. Shit. How do we follow up that?
I'm just going to keep with my I am love.
Okay.
Because that's my affirmation for this month.
I'm going to say I'm exactly where I need to be right now.
Hell yeah, son.
Amazing.
There we go.
Mic drop.
Yeah, look at us. This is great.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I love that.
Thank you guys so much.
Great mood.
This was really fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, Sarah, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you sharing your wealth of knowledge on so many different things. And I feel like my life has changed in this podcast conversation.
Go drink some wheatgrass.
Yeah, we're friends now. You guys have seen my Parasite photos.
I know. We're locked in for life.
Yeah. I can count on one hand how many people's photos I've seen of stuff coming out of their ass. So that is...
Great.
When you word it like that,
Mark. Sorry. We had such a beautiful moment a second ago, and then I just dropped that. I'm sorry.
Mark
I apologize. I am apologizing.
Formally apologizing.
So, with that, thank you everybody for tuning in. And hey, if you try out some of these things, shoot Sarah a message afterwards and tell her what you
pics,
think. Please. Send Anna all the photos.
Send me pics.
There it is.
Love you. Bye.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye.